This was my original cable. Then this beautiful little creature, this little wolfy boy, devoured it, destroyed it, completely chewed it up. The only thing he left me was a couple of arms, the lower legs, and a bit of the shoulder pad and harness. Oh yeah, time to kit bash. 3D printed head, 3/4 Marvel Universe cable action figure, Revoltech minis, and not to mention Joy toys. So this is the arrangement. My idea was to cobble together a cable that was completely articulate. Be able to hold his rifle in any pose. These pieces are pretty rough. They're going to require some work to make them look good. I already started on the legs some time ago, but the time is now. Now it's time to get this guy done. This old school cable head is freaking awesome. But you have to be careful with this resin. It's super brittle. I really like the look of the Revoltech torsos. It makes the figure look way yoked out. Super buff. All these pieces just go together really well to complement each other. From the pouches, to the armor, to the arms, to the head, it just works. Cable has had so many different looks. There are so many different versions of Cable. What design to go with? I have to decide what era, what design am I going to go with? Am I going to go with the 90s cartoon? Am I going to go with the earlier comic book? Am I going to go with the later comic book? I looked at the old comic books. I love the more military look of Cable. So I'm going to go with the earlier designs. Those are my favorite. Getting rid of those old Marvel joints, I just sliced them off, left the elbow, drilled some holes into the bicep and the forearm, and inserted the Joy Toy joint. Then I inserted the Revoltech joint into the bicep and glued on the shoulder. So these arms are going to have way more range of motion. These are going to be able to fold across his chest and swing up behind his head. This will really give him a wide range of posability. I forgot to mention, you could also twist this wrist in all directions, and this glove piece actually comes from a Dragon Ball Z character. Thank you very much, Vegeta. So using some 2-part epoxy putty, just apply, get it into the general shape that you need, and make sure you knead it pretty well. Just get it on there. It will bond to the plastic nicely, and you can sand it and sculpt it well. I have these tweezers that have this nice sharp edge, and the radius is about perfect for the 3/4 scale size. So if it gets tacky, just use a little water and you can smooth it right out. A little too much off there. And here it is. Some slight sculpting in the chest to make it pop a little bit. And for the shoulder, I'm not worried about that seam right there. I'm going to cover it with some ammo or a pouch or something. But yeah, it turned out well. Got a little overpaint on the neck here, but I'll clean that up. And for these legs, we'll put some silver paint on the thigh armor to give it that OG feel. And here it is, pretty simple, just some silver paint. Also build the shoulder pads by just doing a press mold. Just using the epoxy putty, and use some Vaseline for a mold release. And you got yourself a quick mold. You could either put more epoxy putty in this and pull it out right before it hardens, or, as I'm going to right now, use just regular off-the-shelf epoxy. Now you want to make sure you mix this up really thorough. Give it a little twizzle twazzle and get that really well mixed. And just glob it in there. Just get it on in there. And just evenly spread this about. As it cures, you can just let it flow into either side, evenly disperse. And then right before it cures, I use a little Vaseline, push out the air bubbles and make sure that it's nice and even, you know. Just make sure that's smooth. And then let it cure up. So there you go, finished product. Time to remove it. Test fit time. Using epoxy putty to make a quick press mold and using this old harness with shoulder pad, I made this one with epoxy putty, and then I accidentally broke the mold getting out the resin, and here's the epoxy resin. It looks really cool, it looks like a Master Chief's energy shield. And it's just as nice a fit as the epoxy putty. Time to clean that up and get some paint on it. So don't tell my wife, but I stole a hair tie from her. And these will be the old man suspenders, or the Jim Lee oversized straps I use to hold the shoulder pads on. They look pretty cool, but the black is the wrong color. If I could have found some in tan, that would have worked better, but it's a kit bash, so you work with what you got. So here's the two shoulder pads. Need to do a little bit more cleanup and get some more paint on these. And they're going to tuck underneath the straps. I didn't realize, but these straps really sucked up the paint. They're like little sponges for the paint. But it all worked out perfectly. This is the end product. I made some alterations, of course, and worked with what I had. And he really gives me a giggle. He really worked out well. I really get a kick out of this guy. It's always nice when your creation stands up on its own.
To attempt to destroy me, mutant! You shall pay for your hubris right now!
So this was a lot of fun doing this kit bash. I really enjoyed making this guy. And I think he came out pretty good. If you like this, let me know down in the comments. So I really enjoyed this guy, but there was one detail I never touched on, and that was this awesome Joy Toy knife. It was such a cool tech knife that I really wanted to include it in this build. With the rest of my X-Men, I think it really worked out well. I had a lot of fun doing this build. Please give a like and subscribe and share this video with somebody that you know that enjoys this type of customization. I really thank you for stopping by and checking this out with me. And like always, have a good day, good night, ciao, até a próxima.
I allowed you to get this far so I might gain the one great power I lack.